you SMB, and this video is all about the mistakes that could brick your account, things to avoid, things to be careful of after we've pretty much successfully pushed our account as far as reasonably possible on day one. Number one, do not use your gems on this banner. Do not summon with gems on the Blue Dawn banner. You have to hold out, because in 2 days we're going to get a banner on which you can also use your gems, and it's going to contain Lamia, which is a top tier unit. So number one, do not use your gems on this right here. Number two, make sure you have an altar that looks something like this. There's still a couple unknowns, but it is safe to say that you want Hazing, you want Acapella, Agaris, Triss, and Piera are basically the best out of them. Though, at minimum, you want Van Helsing and Acapella on this list. The other three aren't necessarily as important. For the Bloodborns, it's super simple. Just skip Mass. She is by far the worst. And for the Kingdom, you want to definitely make sure you have Stereite Iona on there. And the other ones, to a degree, come down to preference, like for example Gilrain or Amy. It doesn't truly make too much of a difference. So the most important ones are that you got Stereite Iona on here, that you've got Van Helsing, and that you got Acapella on here. The Bloodborns are the easiest, and the rest aren't necessarily quite as crucial. So that's everything in regards to summons. Now the next most important system is this idol system right here. The way this works is when you clear 5 stages in the campaign mode, normal or hard, you increase your Moonlight Faith level by 1. The higher the Moonlight Faith level, the higher the yield per minute and also per hour on your account. The reason why that's relevant is because throughout the game you're going to get multiple versions of, for example, this item that yields you Pure Blood Essence, or for example this chest that yields you a copy of each of them, or even this chest, like for example you can get them by just going to the Lost Courtyard and claiming a milestone that one of the more money-free people has achieved. So for example here you could then claim them. So that's why it's important to be careful with these, and you really only want to use these items when you're truly stuck. And when you're truly stuck, you can use those to get over a hurdle, and that is why we've also already pushed ourselves all the way to chapter 6, because in chapter 6 and in the process of it, making our way towards level 50. Level 50 was kind of where we had to start using a couple of these materials to get there, to get the rewards. So that's what we had to make sure of, that we use these not just willy-nilly, and pretty much try to keep them as long as possible, because the longer you keep them, the more valuable they're going to be based on your campaign progress. Outside of that, let's talk a bit about the shop and everything else, what you should pay attention to. So in the general store, honestly, only the free deal is truly worth it. The gem deals, not necessarily. Yes, the solely deal here for 8 gems is quite alright, but until we have a couple more days in the game, you're not going to see any good gear pieces. Make sure you do not buy these gear pieces. You are otherwise going to be starved for Soli or gold, whatever you want to call it. There can be some surprise deals here, but most of the stuff truly isn't worth it. In the Covenant shop, what I did, for example, is, as you can see, we already bought 6 perfect shards so that we can fuse ourselves another SSR, but you can also just hold on to them and see what you want to do. These awakening fragments are what you unlock once you hit, I think, somewhere in chapter 6 or chapter 7, where you can improve the base stats of all your class and also faction members. But those are by no means any must buys, and buying perfect shards is totally fine. Here, this is what's going to be important, and you really want to start saving up these fragrant residues. What you want to do with these fragrant residues is tackle something called the level 160 wall. What the level 160 wall refers to is the fact that rares cap out at level 160, and the max level a character can reach is level 200. The way you do that is by adding 3 copies of the same SSR into a unit. So you need a total of 4 times the same SSR to get your character up to level 200 so that you can reach the max level. But why do you need 4 times the same SSR 5 times? That is because of the transfusion system. Transfusion system, the lowest level of your highest 5 leveled characters is going to be able to be transferred to any character you desire. You're also going to be able to unlock more of these slots, for example, through the observatory right here. So do not buy these with gems. It is not worth it. Don't buy the extra transfusion slot with gems. Yeah, which leads us to another problem. Don't invest into the observatory. All right, we're jumping all over the place, but there's a couple pitfalls here. So don't invest into the observatory system. What you can do is invest until you get the pure blood essence plus 10% and then pretty much hold out, because this thing is just a gold sink. For the most part, it's just a gold sink until you can make another push to, for example, the pure blood and the soli. But for the most part, early on, for the first couple, like 1 or 2 weeks, you can stay away from this quite comfortably. Otherwise, you're again going to run out of gold. So this 200 wall means you'll be able to push your units to the max level. And that is again where this shop comes into play. Because through this shop, you will be able to buy copies of dedicated normal SSRs. Like, for example, a top tier hero like Starry-Eyed Iona. Your goal is to gather these residues and make sure you can work your way towards finishing off 5 characters to max level 200 so you can push up everyone else on your account. Otherwise, you're going to get power gated. So save those until you either find someone super overpowered, but preferably to work your way towards getting the 5th hero with the 4th copy, or the 4th hero and then the 5th hero with the 4th copy. So be a bit more careful with the fragrant residue. And there will also be a different currency. When the Lamia banner arrives, there will be the, I think they call it like the premium residue or something. And you can use that to if you do 200 summons, you can get yourself an extra copy of the hero. In this case, for example, Lamia. But those are pretty much just for limited. And those should only be used to save yourself from extreme bad luck. Blood shop or arena shop. Early on, none of these gear pieces are worth it. You have to wait until you get to like tier 7, tier 8, tier 9, even higher gear. And the rest, for the most part, just save these materials up. It's not quite worth spending them anywhere. Now for the guild coins though, that is something a bit that we have to look a bit more in detail. But it mostly has to do with the power of these artifacts and just getting these blueprints to further upgrade said artifacts. So these were most of the crucial pitfalls you could fall into. On the other hand, let's see. There's something very important. We've already talked about the transfusion system. Do not invest in characters past 5. Have 5 characters, you level up everybody else. Just do it with the transfusion system. Otherwise, you're just wasting resources. If you have done it, you can rectify your mistake by just spending 10 gems to get the resources back. So try to pull your resources on all your characters. And also, if you were wondering why you couldn't push a character past a certain level, there's level blocks at level 20, at level 40, level 60. I think it's every 20 levels, maybe even every 10, where you also need to use ascendancy resources, and only once all 4 or all 5 of your characters have hit the benchmark, then you make a character jump over the benchmark. So there is no just bringing one character to level 200 instantly. Gear. Gear is pretty much the last part we need to talk about, and that is don't really invest into your gear. This gear isn't good enough that it's worth it for you to invest not only your stones to upgrade that gear, but also it's not even really worth the gold. You see that it's an attack increase of around like 6. So when would I say you can start upgrading gear? Upgrading gear that's worthy only kind of starts dropping from boss number 2. So this would be Armored Spirit. Only really from Armored Spirit do you start getting gear that's truly worth it to upgrade. But you can obviously Still upgrade a couple earlier pieces though. I would recommend they should at least be minimum tier 4 and preferably also with the special faction symbol, meaning that if they match the faction of the character you get an extra buff. So make sure that you have that you just don't throw away your gold for some random pieces. Same is true for the upgrade materials because they are still somewhat slightly hard to come by. Is there anything else we specifically need to be covering? Yes, I guess lastly it's the dailies. Make sure you do your 3 arena fights. Don't do what I did. Don't purchase extra arena fights. You could maybe buy like 1, maybe 2. But overall the payout you gain from arena isn't quite worth you investing extra gems into it, because you see season reward and daily reward. You would have to wait for the end of the season to make your gems back, and yeah, just do your daily fights there. It's going to be fine. Infinite Abyss and the other towers, push them as hard as you can each day for the multiple rewards. Same is true for the Tangmon Mausoleum. Make sure that you push this as far as possible, which is based on your campaign. So for example, if you clear 6-5, then you can try 21 to 25, stuff like that. And then today's reward, make sure you claim this every single day at the highest stage possible, as well as obviously here for the Tomb of the Fallen. Don't just use 3 attacks on like level 1 or level 2. Try to push it as high as possible. My highest score on Trial Exorcism, for example, was level 7. So at the end of the day, just do your Red King of Starfall Valley runs. And once you've done those, got your highest possible score, then you can use the quick slay button to do the rest for you. This should pretty much cover any big major pitfalls you could be running into. And as always, we see each other in the next one. Peace!